Go.
Hello, Ana Lilia. So good
Hi,
to
Aida.
see you.
Hi.
Hi. So how was your week? We haven't seen each other in about a week now.
Yeah, it's been crazy. I've had a long week actually. Um, I'm still working. I'm
Wow.
very stubborn, so I'm still working. Everybody's like, when is it gonna be your last day? You need to stop because I work with kids. So remember I mentioned like I'm a preschool teacher, so I'm like with the little ones. But my week has been good and a little exhausting. I have like roller coaster, uh, I guess, emotions and energy. There's days that I'm just like, whoa, like, let's go for a walk, let's do this. And then there's days that I'm just like, I cannot move. Um, I I got a surprise baby shower
Oh,
on Saturday, and apparently, I mean, according to my reaction, I saw the video. According to my reaction, people were like, you looked very upset. And maybe I was because I wasn't in the time of like, throw me a party. I just wanted to be left alone. But it was very nice, I guess. And then the next day, following Sunday, Monday, I was getting like, I don't know, like contractions, I guess. I was like in bed all Sunday. It was scary because it's unknown, like this is new to me, but I'm like, what is going on with my body? You know? So that was pretty much my week.
wow.
Yeah.
It sounds like you had a lot. How did you feel throughout? Any moments of, I know that you mentioned that this brings you anxiety because it's so unknown and new to you.
Yeah. Well, the anxiety part this week has gone away, but I think I replaced it with anger. Um, and like I guess emotional. Like I've been getting very angry and emotional because I feel like nobody understands me. Like in my head, I'm like, everybody's requesting things from me, like, oh, come over my house, or oh, can you bring this? Like my mom's like, can you bring cat food, or can you bring the most random thing that I'm just like, Mom, seriously, like you can't get cat food. I live in Pasadena, you live in South LA. Why am I going to commute 30 minutes to give you cat food? Like, so I'm like to the point that I'm like, I know they're used to old Anna, which I'm just like, what do you need? I'll be there. But I'm like, what about me right now that I feel like I got ran over by a bus and I might have a kid any minute? So I think my anxiety kind of got replaced with anger and emotions where I feel like kind of nobody cares, I guess, or nobody understands. There you go. That's the right term. Nobody understands.
Have you felt this way in the past?
Um, you know what? That's funny how you brought that up because a little bit of it, yes. My husband brought that up with the baby shower, actually. He was like, honey, I know you don't like surprises because you're not used to them. You don't like people doing stuff for you. It feels weird to you. So yeah, it is a feeling that I get that I've always had. I'm just like, I feel weirded about it. So I'm like, I don't know, it's weird. So he's like, but I felt like it was something nice to do for you, because even though you say you don't want it, I felt like you would want it. So I was like, okay, I guess. I don't know. But it is an emotion I've had in the past where I've felt like, wait, nobody cares. I do all this, but nobody would do that for me. But I kind of don't say anything. I'm just like, whatever. I don't know.
Am I getting a feeling that maybe you feel uncomfortable being the center of attention?
I do. I do.
Okay.
I don't like it. I mean, I like being cared for, obviously,
Right.
but when it's like the center of attention, I feel like, I don't know, I feel like yucky. I feel kind of like, oh my gosh, that's too much on me. Like, I can't take it, you know?
Yeah.
So I try to avoid it. Like, don't.
Okay.
Yeah, it feels weird.
So you do want people to take care of you, but you want to do it on your terms. Like,
Pretty much. Like, I don't, yeah, that's why like, for instance, the what is it, the baby shower? In the back of my head, I kept on thinking about others. Like, oh my gosh, they took time from their schedule to come and decorate, to come and like buy this stuff, to cook, like that's the only thing I think about instead of like, oh, it was really nice. They cared about me. I keep on thinking, oh my gosh, like I know their lives. They have like busy lives and they did this. I'm like, so I start feeling bad. I start feeling like they shouldn't have done this. I'm like, I would have been okay without it. Even though it was really nice and I should just take it for what it is and enjoy it. I in the back of my head, I'm like texting everybody, like, I know you're planning a wedding, that's a month away, and you have all these things and you still took the time to come. I'm like, you shouldn't have. They're like, no, but we want to. And I'm like, I feel bad now.
oh,
Instead of me enjoying it, I feel bad. It's weird.
well, get ready for a little bit more when the baby comes.
You know what? Yeah, I hope, because this week I also had another like emotional session where I was telling my husband and he's like, stop thinking like that. Where I was just thinking, I'm like, dude, I don't like, no, like my parents don't visit me, or my mother-in-law doesn't visit me. So I'm just like, imagine when the baby comes, I'm like, I'm alone. And he's like, what about if it would be the other way around, where everybody wants to come and help you? And I'm like, I don't think so. Um, but then he's like, no, and that was a good example where it's like people want to show you they care, but at the same time, they might be scared of your reaction, because your reaction is always like, no, don't do it for me, don't do it for me, I'll do for you. So he's like, you're giving those like mixed feelings.
Right.
I don't know what's wrong with me.
There is nothing wrong with you. I assure you. But I do want you to think about these boundaries that you have with people, or maybe walls that you build, and how, now you're going to need help. So finding a healthy way of maybe getting the help that you need for you on your terms, because it's coming soon. So it's something to think about. I want you to be able to have the help that you need, in your own terms. I see how frustrating or maybe just
It's
hearing it is making you feel a
hearing it
certain
is
way.
difficult. Yeah, because I'm the type of person that it's really hard for me to ask for help. Like I tried to do it on my own, even though it's really difficult. But with a baby coming, that is scary, where it's like, will I be able to do it on my own? And everybody's like, no, you're gonna need help,
Right.
and that's challenging for me to like, I guess for me to, I don't want to say weakness, but kind of like, oh man, I'm actually asking for help, you know? That could be challenging sometimes.
I mean, sometimes we hear this, especially women. You need to be independent, you need to handle it on your own, you can do it all. And all of these words, but the more humble way of accepting something difficult happening to you is by actually getting the help that you need. So I think that this is a time for you to talk with your husband and to figure out who you want there to be there for you,
Yeah,
because you don't want to be underwater and, lack of sleep,
right.
maybe being in pain, et cetera, and you want to have that support system. It sounds like there's a ton of people that care and love you and want to take the time, to help you, but they may be scared, like you said, to come forward and say, I'm going to help you. So maybe think about those people that you think bring you peace, that could be there for you.
I mean, there is people that I think that would be, amazing around me, which is like my mom, my sister, his mom. Um, but then again, I go back to like feeling bad. I feel guilty for like taking their time. To me, I'm like, I will try my best to like not ask them for help because I feel like they still have to work, or I just don't want to take up their time, that's the way I think in my head. Like I would feel bad if they have things to do and I'm over here asking for help.
Now, would you do it for them?
I would.
Okay.
I would. I mean, the cat example is a good one. I've done that forever, where it's like, oh, can you stop at the store and get, you know, pet food or whatever? And I'll do it, even though it kind of makes no sense because I'm like, Mom, there's a store down the block. Like you could do it, but she'll be like, I don't know which one to get. I'm like, okay, fine. I'll drive 30 minutes to give you cat food, for like a month's worth or a week's worth. So yeah, I'll go out of my way and I don't mind doing it. I love it. But I feel like the other way around is very difficult for me to just take.
It's a humbling experience.
Yeah.
It looks like it's going to take you a little bit of time to get adjusted to asking for help.
I'm sure it'll kick in once the baby comes. Like, I need help. I have no choice than to ask for help. But I mean, it's getting close. So yeah, you're right. I'm gonna have to think about who I could reach out to and just, yeah, like you said, just like humble myself and be like, no matter how strong I am or how like strong-willed, like I have to have help. I mean, I'm like 3.5 weeks, something like that, like away. That's scary. Oh
But you're
gosh.
laughing, you have a good,
I mean, I try to. I
you're,
try I
it's
try
scary,
to
but it's
just like
exciting. It looks like
push
you're,
through, but a part of it is exciting. It is. Um, it's nice. I want to see like the good side of it, but I can't help also to be a little nervous of the unknown. There's things that I don't know and I like knowing everything. So I'm just like, I don't know how it's going to go about. So how do I plan? There's no planning. But
it's an adventure.
yeah. I know, like I was telling my husband, just being sarcastic, I was like, okay, so it's spring break. Where are we going? And he's like, well, honey, we're going on a vacation to the hospital. And I'm like, great. You know, that makes me nervous. It's not like I'm packing a suitcase, to go on I don't know, airplane and on vacation. I'm going to the hospital. I'm like, wow, crazy.
Have you ever in the past needed help?
I have. I mean, I have. I think I have. But a lot of it comes from, like my childhood. I'm the oldest. Like I mentioned before, I'm the oldest. It was just me and my mom, with my brothers. So most of the time I was alone with them. My mom had to work and leave us. So I couldn't ask for help. I had to figure it out because, she was at work. So it's like in my head, I'm like, I don't want to tell her, Mom, there's an emergency, come, because she was at work. So I knew, like, okay, she had to do that in order for us to live, I guess. So there was times where it's like, oh, there goes my brother, like broke the window with his head or something crazy like that. Like now he's bleeding over there. What do I do? And I would have to figure it out. So I think a lot of it comes from that, where it's like I asking for help is the last thing. I just have to figure it out.
Mhm.
I think that's where a lot of the asking help guilt comes from, because I was kind of forced to not ask for help, you know? I don't know. And then when I did, it was more like my mom was just too tired and too busy, where she's just like, I can't right now. So then I'm like, okay, if she can't, provide that help, then I guess I would have to figure it out. So I guess that's where it's come. I don't know.
It does sound like that's where it comes from. I think you found it. But this
Yeah.
is a different situation. I know that it's difficult to separate the two, but now everybody wants to help you and is going to want to be around a new baby and
Yeah.
be there for you. So it sounds like maybe if you plan for it, it would give you some peace of mind. You can pick a certain day for you said your mom, your
Yeah.
sister, and your mother-in-law. And
Yes.
then we have them rotate or something like that. And then they would know in advance, so it wouldn't be, a burden in their lives. If
Right.
Yeah, so maybe come up with a system that will work for you.
Yeah, because they pretty much have already started their own system. Like they've started like cutting back their days, or like rescheduling their hours. So I'm like, that's interesting, because I didn't ask them to. But it's like my mom today, she was like, oh, so now I'm available Fridays and Mondays, or no, Thursdays and Fridays, or something like that. And the other days I'm cutting my hours like shorter. And I'm like, okay, but I don't say anything. But it's like they're the ones that are like making way for all of this. I think it's just me not fighting myself over like, okay, can you help me those days then? You know? Yeah, I will have to work on that.
Like you said, though, when the time comes, you think that you're going to be very open to it once you need the help.
I'm sure I've heard that having a newborn is no joke. Everybody's like, enjoy your sleep now, because once the baby comes, you're going to have none of that and you will need help. So I guess that's good to hear too, because it's like I'm not the only one that has ever experienced like having a newborn and needing all that help. So that kind of makes me feel like, okay, then maybe I won't feel as bad, because it's something that everybody needs help with. I wouldn't be weak, or like, look at her, she couldn't do it kind of thing. But it is something that I could work on.
Are those the thoughts that come to you? Like you're weak for asking help? Or stuff?
Yeah, some of it is more like I can't do it. Like I failed, I can't do it on my own, so I had to ask for help. And then some of it too is like what I mentioned, which is like I feel bad. I start feeling bad because I I don't want to feel like I'm taking people's time, or like away from them doing what they need to do. Like I brought up, like growing up with my mom, she would come home tired, and for me to ask her for help, or like, ma, like, so my brother did so and so, can you ask? Like, I feel bad, because I'm like, she just got home from work all day, like she doesn't want to hear me. Like, and when I would ask for help, it was more like, I'm sorry, I'm tired, can we talk about it later? So it's like, I'm like, all right, then I can't ask you then. you know I don't know.
I see. It's hard thinking about it in a different way.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
Now you mentioned something weak and I can't do it on my own. Have you felt like that in the past?
Um, yes, I think I have. I have felt like that in the past. Um, and that was scary because I felt like I couldn't, like I failed myself. It was like I failed myself. Darn it, dude. Like why couldn't I do this? But the outcome was good. Asking for help was actually good. So I know it wasn't bad. It was actually good. I asked my whole family for help actually, and they were there.
Nice.
So I do see that even though I tried my best and I held it like, no, I'm gonna figure it out, I couldn't. So there was a feeling of like I failed. I'm gonna have to ask for help. I can't do this one. But when I asked for help, they were all there.
Mhm.
Um, so the outcome was awesome, actually.
Okay,
Yeah,
well, this is gonna be the same way.
that's good to know. Yeah, because that
Never.
is something that I'm like, oh, there's no way I can't say no. It was a good outcome. So I guess asking for help is not that bad.
Especially when you need it. I've had to help my share of friends and family with newborns, and there's nothing like even sometimes when the dads were away at work, just having another human
Yeah,
around was helpful, you know, just to
yeah,
um get you through because it's emotional, it's physical, it's gonna be like I said, a brand new adventure.
I'm sure. I'm sure. Yeah, we'll probably be talking about that soon. With the baby crying.
We'll
Yeah.
have our session, not to worry.
Okay. Thank
Yeah, no, thank you for coming out, and we'll discuss more about this in our next session. But I wanted to ask you, how have you felt about our work together, and how are you feeling about our sessions?
I feel good. I mean, all of our sessions have been different, like I remember sharing with you, my anxiety with like work and school and, being pregnant. Um, but that has kind of like gone away. The whole anxiety, uh, you recommended like books and like not focusing on like reading because I was like so fixed on reading all this crazy stuff that would just get me overwhelmed. But I started doing the meditation videos. So those are amazing. Like it changes my whole everything. Like I'm like literally floating of how like peace I feel just listening to something positive versus like, oh my gosh, your baby's gonna come, or oh my gosh, this might happen, which is like, okay, add to the anxiety. And then like today, just like that reminder of, asking for help is actually not bad. It has good results. And I actually forgot about that one time um, that I could remember. And it was good. It was nice to see that everybody cared, and I didn't feel bad about it. So
Right, just like with the baby shower, everybody wants to be there for you.
yeah,
You just have to be open to having them,
yeah.
give them the space, and then also helps you control it, by the way, you know, control when they're going to be there, how they're going to help you, because maybe that'll give you the boundaries that you seem to like. So think
Yeah,
about it this week. Yeah.
yeah, that makes sense. And it's a good time to think about it actually, because you said this week, and technically this week, maybe next week, will be my last at work. So it is something to think about. I'm getting super close, so I
Yeah.
will for sure think about it.
Yes. Think about those close people, and people, I'm sure people have reached out by now asking how they could help.
They have, Yeah.
Yeah, just think about it and keep it there because you may never know how much you'll need it.
That's true. Yeah, thank you. I will keep that in mind.
Okay, so Anna Lily, I will see you next week at the same time.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you, Ada.
No, thank you. Have a good week.
All right, you too.